Barev Bolorin. Hello, everyone. I'm just wondering, are there any people here who have difficulty with English? If any questions arise during the presentation, just like put your hand up and I'll answer it in Armenian if you need to. I'm Harouth. I'm an architect and a graphic and web designer. I've been working freelance for about 4 years now, and I'm in my third year of architecture bachelor's degree in the UK, in the University of Bath. And today I'm doing a small workshop on user onboarding and user experience design workflows and user workflows. I'm just wondering if there are any designers here. No designers? Well, any designer is basically a user experience designer. I'll get to that in a bit. So what do you guys do? Are you students? What do you study? Computer sciences. Okay. Let's go ahead. Has anyone ever heard of the term user onboarding before? Okay, no one's heard of a user onboarding. That's fine. We'll get into it in a bit. So, just one small bit to clear any confusion that there is. Like, why would an architect be talking about user interface design? Well, in reality, architecture and user experience design are actually very, very closely related, because architecture, any kind of design discipline in the world, be it graphic design, be it web design, be it print design or user experience design itself, is a type of user experience design, because in every single type of design, the end user, the person who's going to be using the product, be it a print poster on the wall or be it some kind of an interior in a building, there is user interaction with the final product. So, in architecture, for example, we architects design the way that people interact with buildings. We design how they walk through the building, the corridors, which rooms follow which other rooms. It's sort of similar to the web design, like UX design in terms of web, where you create the flow for the user to go from one place in your website to another place, or you direct them from one function to another function. So that's where my perspective comes from for user experience design, and I generally started getting into user experience design quite recently, and I had a feeling that being an architecture student helped me a lot, because it is very closely related, and not only with architecture, with all other disciplines of design as well. And I am very against the notion that there are user experience designers. Being a user experience designer is not a title, well, in my opinion at least. Any designer is a user experience designer. If I do graphic stuff, I do business cards, for example. I design business cards, and I design the way that the end user, the person who's going to be receiving the business card, is going to interact with the business card, and how the business card is going to affect him, or what's going to happen when he gets the business card. So I sort of partially answered this question already, but can anyone actually give me a definition of what user experience design is, or what user experience in general is? I didn't have to know. You guys got to start talking, because my whole workshop is quite interactive, and we're going to be doing case studies in a bit, and we're going to have to analyze it ourselves. So. Just give me wild shots, give me anything. What do you think user experience design is?
May I say?
Go on.
Yeah, actually I don't have an idea about design, I think so, but I think user experience is something that users don't see, but they kind of have when they see this user interface.
Okay.
It's the backstage.
Good, you've got a couple of keywords there, which is interfaces, it's design, and users. Basically, the 1% right now in the user experience design industry is that whenever people say design, they think of something visual. They think of something that is tangible, that you can touch, that you can see. It's a building, it's an interior, or it's a website or it's a mobile application, but the design actually is not is the process of the whole thing, and user experience design in particular is a process. It is not one single thing. You were going to say what you think user experience design is.
Yes, it's designing how the user interacts.
Yeah, pretty much. I usually say you define user experience design with 5 questions. What, why, when, who, how. And it's pretty much everything. What is the user doing? Why is he doing it? When is he going to do it? Or when do you want the user to do it? Who is it he? Who is the user? And how is he going to achieve what he's set out to achieve? Very broad questions, but that's the thing. User experience design, UX design in general, is a very broad idea, and it's a very broad process. And there's pretty much no rights and wrongs in this area. There are like accepted principles and good practices and bad practices, but there's no such thing as something that is right or wrong, because it is a whole process. Even if when you launch your product, let's say you're designing a website and you're designing the user interface of the website, and even after you've launched your website, it's not over. The user experience design process continues onward as your website just goes live or your mobile application goes live. So, user onboarding is a small part of user experience design, and I asked you before if anyone knew what user onboarding is in general, but if you've never heard of it before, try and guess. What do you think user onboarding is?
You use that first impression, maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty much
How to keep new users.
This is my favorite definition of it. It's by this great guy called Justin Singer. He's a great UX and UI designer. Onboarding is the process of turning a first-time user into a repeat customer during the user's first interaction with your product. So it's sort of the conversion rate of the users that visit your website for the first time. It can be anything. Onboarding itself is not a physical thing. It's not a button. It's not a form. It's not a sign-up form. It's not a login. It's the whole process that the user goes through when he first lands. It doesn't have to be a website as well. It can be anything. It can be a mobile application, just even like a physical product as well. Let's say you have a camera, for example, and user onboarding on a camera would be that when a user picks up the camera for the first time and he starts using it, what would be the conversion rate of how easy would it be to use your camera for the first time? And that would tell you how good your user onboarding is. What should onboarding do? These are the 4 main principles people talk about these days, but there are a lot more principles than this and a lot more bad and good practices in the industry. But because, as I told you before, there are no rights and wrongs in this area, it's very hard to judge if something is working or because it's well designed, or it's just luck, for example. We'll get to that later, how to see if something's actually working because it is well designed or not. So, the most important thing your onboarding process usually needs to be, it needs to be shorter than 30 seconds. Attention span of people these days on the web, well, I'm talking especially on the web and on mobile platforms, don't go over 30 seconds. If you can't initiate your user onboarding process in 30 seconds and get over with it, the user will ditch your product, most likely, unless you're like really cool. Put the user's focus onto 1 or 2 core features at a time. Don't dump the users with a ton of new features, ton of different stuff that they cannot comprehend at once. Give everything one by one. Put their attention on one big thing and then turn the attention to another big thing. Does anyone do psychology or anything as a course? Does anyone know what positive reinforcement is? Yeah, it's sort of like how pets are treated, basically. It's like when a pet does something good, you give him a treat. Same with user onboarding. When he does something good, you reward him somehow. So if he goes into your website and let's say the first steps he takes, he reads your about page and then he goes and he likes your about page and then he goes in and registers on your website, you have to give him some kind of a treat for it. You have to reward him somehow to keep him, like motivate him to stay on your website and adopt your product. This is very important. A lot of websites in the past 5-6 years didn't used to do this, and these days you see this a lot. Before, in order to be able to use the product, people would have to register and sign in first and then get to using the product. These days, a lot of new websites actually, what they do is they give you a glimpse of the product. They let you use it for a bit and then they ask for you to register and sign up. This sort of takes off the pressure from the user of, oh, should I give this company my email? I don't know, should I open another account that I will never use ever again? So what you do, you first give them the experience of the product, you introduce them to the features of the product, you introduce them the benefits of your service, and then after that, when they like it, they are not forced, but they're encouraged to go to your registration page or your sign up page to be a part of your product. Another very big thing in user onboarding that I see a lot of these mistakes, especially in local products, it's trying to understand the difference between features and benefits. These are not the same things. Here's what our product can do, and here's what you can do with our product. These two sentences seem very, very similar, but they are very different. Here's what our product can do. You're just listing a list of features, and you're not telling how a user can apply those features to his user scenario. But when you're saying, here's what you can do with our product, you're saying, we have these features and you can use them in this specific way. So you're giving them more information, you're positively reinforcing them, saying that we have this feature and if you use it, you're gonna be awarded with this, you're gonna come up with an end result. We're going to do a small case study, not very small, and we're going to do it on the spot together. I'm going to help you a bit, but I'm going to try and see what you guys think. The screenshots I have taken are a bit old. I think I took them in December this year, so they're a couple of months old, and I checked last night, actually a lot of stuff had changed before, but that doesn't matter because we're going to do the case study on this specific thing anyway. So first of all, this is the landing page, used to be the landing page for Gmail. They don't have this anymore. I checked last night. I don't think so, no, I think they changed it. What do you guys, okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of tips. With all the stuff that I told you about user onboarding so far, can anyone tell me what this page is doing right in terms of user onboarding? I'll give you a clue. Look at the featured image there. Any ideas? Shoot in the dark.
It's simple, introducing a product.
Yeah, you can start off with that, I guess. Okay, first of all, the easiest thing, let's see, check this out. Oh, why isn't it working? A lot of white space. What this does, the white space areas around the main information focuses your attention on the middle of the website where all the information is jam-packed. You open up the website and your eyes straight away concentrate on this part. So that's one way to do it. Another big thing they do, has anyone heard of Cta buttons, call to action buttons? Yeah. So stylized, as you can see, they have their own style. They're in blue with white font, and the style is consistent throughout the website. So they have it here, and they have it here. Very important in user onboarding. You have to prioritize your actions. What do you want your user to do? So in order to lead them, you have to use call to actions somehow. I was talking about features, about introducing new features or just in general features to the user one by one, right? I think Google does it wrong here. I'm not calling them out, but the problem here is like, this is my logic. It says new features. I don't even know what the product is yet. So why do I need to know the new features? I need to know the core features. I need to do what Gmail does in its core. I have not been introduced to the product before. So, okay, I'm a first-time user. I come in and new features. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what this does, because I don't know what the core application does. I don't know what the core product does. Another problem I find is some of their copy. Does everyone know what copy is? Copy is the text, basically, the text for the interface. And there's micro copy and copy. Like copy is basically referred to all the large chunks of text in the website, and micro copy is sort of the small taglines and button subtitles and everything. First thing you see is the ease and simplicity of Gmail available across all devices. Can anyone try and tell me what's wrong with this? This phrase, the ease and simplicity of Gmail available across all devices. Taking into account that you're a first-time user, you've never heard about Gmail before, it's the first time you go on their website.
It's not safe what Gmail does and what.
Exactly. It says the ease and simplicity of Gmail. I don't know what Gmail is.
But it's mail.
Well, yeah, okay. In this specific case, it's mail. But let's say the name is different. Okay, like let's say it's not Gmail. Let's say it's, I don't know, like Kangaroo, for example.
Well, I think in this case it doesn't matter because everybody...
The brand recognition in this case is big. Okay, I can get behind that.
Brand recognition, it's about mail. Everybody knows.
Yeah, but that's only because of what mail is.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of mail clients that have different names.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it would be Google Plus, you wouldn't know what it does.
Yeah.
So as a first-time user, you would be unaware of what's happening.
Your first time your registration in mail room.
Pretty much. Another big thing you can notice with Google is they push a lot of mobile because of their Android ecosystem and everything. They first thing they give you is their mobile application, and they give you the mobile features. And then this small copy is good as well. It's sort of like the small description of you can use Gmail for business. It's not only for personal use. And a good supporting text. Let's go on to the next step. Let's try and register. Okay. So I'm a new user. I just saw the first page. I was impressed enough with the features shown. So I clicked the Create Accounts, Register button. Considering that we are in 2014, what's the biggest problem with this page?
They ask too much for registration.
Exactly. These days, this is a massive amount of information for a registration form. We're going to do Tumblr next, and pay attention to the Tumblr registration form. It's only 3 fields. And in here, how many fields do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, this is 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this horrible thing. Who uses CAPTCHAs anymore? Seriously? No, they're horrible. This is like, this has been a problem in user interface design for years now, and they're trying to come up with new solutions and stuff, but still not there. What do you think are these for? These side images and the small taglines. Well, this is obvious. This is, again, a big push on mobile for Google. They want to show you that Google works on tablets, Google works on phones. So they want to jam it into, like, again, when we do Tumblr next, you'll see Google only provides information. It doesn't force you to go onto their mobile platform. But when we do Tumblr, you'll see that Tumblr makes you go onto like a mobile application a few times in their user onboarding process. And these are just customized copy and images just to reassure you. If the last page wasn't enough, this is just extra information, and it gives you like, oh, your Google account is integrated with, I don't know, Google, Gmail, Chrome, YouTube, and Maps and everything. So it's all for your convenience and everything.
So sorry.
One very important thing. The copy, again, is very, very important. The tone of the text that you're using in your website is crucial. In user onboarding, people usually tend to use very commanding lines. So do this, do that, register, create an account, go to this page, next. Open-ended questions like, I don't know, would you like to create an account? Or what do you think of our product are not very good. You have to direct the user because he's lost. He's in a maze, and you have to take him through the maze. So here's a very good example of a good narrative tone in a user onboarding process, which is create your Google account. It's giving you specific instructions on what to do. Very good. Very, very good. I hate websites or mobile applications that don't give you the password rules while you're typing the passwords, because usually what they do is you type the password, you enter it, and then it says, oh no, this password won't work. You're wasting time. You're losing user onboarding time. So this shortens the process about for another 10-15 seconds. You go on your password field, and then it straight away tells you, I don't know, it's going to be alphanumeric, you're not allowed to use any punctuation, and it doubles as a password strength meter as well, which is amazing. These stuff like make your life so much easier.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What else is used besides captures?
Besides captures, they do a lot of voice recognition stuff I've seen on websites, and they do sort of like logical puzzles. So interactive puzzles, like, I don't know, it's like 3 dots or something. You've got to connect them together to prove that you're human and everything. But those are not very reliable, because I've seen some bots that do the required action in order to get through the registration. I don't know, like I haven't seen any decisive method of replacing captchas yet, but in general, just in case of Google, it's hard because Google is so big, it's going to get so many user registrations every day. If you're a small-scale mobile application, I don't think you need captchas because, yeah.
I can add on captcha. Actually, if you're a developer, you know CSRF, cross-site request forgery. Okay. It's easy. You put some hash, like some kind of generated key in a cookie into the browser, and you expect this cookie to come on the next page when you receive your request. And if it's not coming, then it's a bot. If you are receiving that, that means that user comes from your registration form.
So essentially keep checking for that cookie.
Yeah.
Yes, and user don't need to do anything. I use that pretty much on like feedback forms, and it shows very well. I mean, it's not 100% like stuff that you can rely on, but it's no worse than usual captchas.
See, that's a very good example of good user onboarding, because that would significantly decrease the amount of registration time as well by another like 20 seconds. And they'll again save you time when you're getting your user to get to adopt your product. So we registered, we click register, and it brings us to the next page. Remember what I told you about commanding instructions? What do you think about this? It's not very clear how you'll appear. Okay, it says like this is going to be your profile pic is going to be here, and your name is, but it doesn't tell you what to do. Who can spot the big problem with the Cta button on this page?
So can it make a bit bigger? So
It's in
I'll
first.
try.
Like next step is the actual primary button.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. The CTA button here needs to be the add a photo and not next step, because you want your user to add a photo. You want him to do something. But the whole problems comes from the how you'll appear tagline. What this needed to be probably is add a photo and not how you will appear. And then you could easily switch the CTA button to add a photo and then have next step as like, usually what you need to do is when you're collecting information from the user, you're gonna make it as hard as possible for him to skip the step without entering the information.
But maybe the designer's goal was to get the user to finish this form as quickly as possible. And it makes sense that they put next step.
Maybe, yeah. Like you can always go back and add a photo and everything, but in terms of UX design, this is not this is the other way around. The logic is not right here, because this is a page where it's created for you to add a photo, but it's telling you no, don't add a photo, go away, because this is what the importance is put on here. It's like, no, never mind, you cannot, just don't do it. Next step.
It can be same size, but mostly.
They're just telling you can add photo here.
Yeah. It's like, we've got a feature, you can add a photo. Very fun stuff, animations.
Loading.
Yep, it's showing that it's working on something. So you're not just sitting there and saying, oh, what's happening? So what am I doing? And it's processing, it's giving you feedback. Sort of like giving feedback on a mobile application on our website is very important to the user. So because like, not these days, like back in the day when stuff was slower, like phones were slower, websites were slower, you would just be sitting there for like 30 seconds straight or 40 seconds straight waiting for something to load, and you would not know if it's loading properly or not. So these kind of indicators came along, and they're a very good way to give feedback to your user on what's happening.
But actually this animation in like next page, but it's kind of,
yeah.
For me this is kind of, I would
obsolete.
prefer to click next, then the page starts to loading, and it shows me some candy bar and says, we are loading, but you can read this shit before. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have another big problem with the CTA button here. Continue to Gmail. Where was I? I was in Gmail.
In your discussion forum.
It is still in Gmail, but that's the thing. It's sort of this whole thing was happening in a meta dimension somewhere, and you're just getting into Gmail. Probably it would be better continue to your inbox, because continue to Gmail does exactly that. It takes you to your inbox next. Remember I said about positive reinforcement? You got to give a treat to your user every time they do something, sort of like a pet, sort of like a dog. They do a trick, you give them a treat. You give them a cookie or something. You give them thanks. Easiest one.
I will add something here. This is kind of welcome message. It's kind of good attitude to the user.
Yeah.
After this, we'll go to Gmail application where they don't have any place to say welcome.
You'll see they have. When you're a first-time user, they actually do.
When they know his name, they are happy. Oh, he knows.
Yeah, exactly. It's personalized. It's exactly what I was talking about. It's about positive reinforcement. So when the user does something, you pat him on the back. You say, good job, Samuel. You just registered on Gmail.
It's also like trying to tell something big coming, It wasn't Gmail before.
Wait for it.
Can I go back to full screen mode? My big problem with this page, you don't know where to start. Okay, it's giving you a pop-up, but I also have the option to click on any of the available buttons or all the functions. I'm new, I don't know where to go. Can anyone suggest a quick solution to this problem? It's very, very easy. Exactly, they do that a lot now, and it's like best way to do it. You want the user to concentrate on this, black everything else out, put it on 50% transparency of black, for example, and then your user will know straight away. This pops up. I need to deal with this pop-up message first. I don't really like their too clip arty for my taste, and it doesn't vary. These doodly style clip arts, I don't think they work very well with their really crisp and minimalist UI design. But I guess it's a good contrast, and it's just a personal opinion. People have different opinions. And for a quick tour of Gmail, key features, click Next. Tutorials are a very big part of user onboarding. On websites, it's quite hard these days because tutorials to introduce like all of the features and how to use the website and everything can be quite lengthy. So it's hard to find the right balance between a short tutorial but one that gives enough information for the user to get started. Next thing it says, oh, you can add a theme. Okay, I didn't know that. I'll go ahead and add a theme. But again, same problem here. Should I add a theme, or should I just go straight into my inbox, my sent, my start, or should I go to Google Hangouts? I don't know, should I search something? There's no emphasis on here.
Also, I think it's very small pop-up.
Yeah, those pop-ups are quite small. I think this is just because actually they're bigger. I think it's just because I had a massive screen resolution when I was taking these screenshots. And then you go to the theme setup. Overlays. Overlay messages are always a good thing. It's an easy and quick way to display information when you think your user might be lost. Okay, you come to the themes page, you're a first-time user, you see, oh, the pink theme looks good. I'll choose the pink theme. What do I do next? Click the inbox to go back to the inbox. Instead of having a big pop-up, just have a nice small overlay message. Saves you a lot of time again. Again, the tutorial continues. Again, same problem here. There is no hierarchy and there's no prioritization between the actions. There's no call to action on this page, so the user can be like absolutely lost here. He would not know what to do. But thankfully, the text helps out a bit, I guess. And then more help, more help. It's a good thing it explains you everything in detail, sort of like this is your chat area and everything. And that's just the beginning. It tells you that there's a lot more to discover. Go ahead. This is where you know that you're free to roam in the application. They say, okay, we've shown you everything you need to know so far, so go ahead and explore everything else. At this stage, I'm lost again. What do I do? Okay, I've used email clients before. I know these are mails. I can open them up. And a very good thing is generating first-time user content. If this Gmail application would be completely blank, like no emails from Gmail or anything, the inbox would be completely empty, it wouldn't be very good because you wouldn't know where to start. So now you know there's 3 mails in your mailbox and then there's another couple of mails in your social inbox. You can go ahead and start opening them up, see what they're about.
How do you open them?
A lot of people do, because these stuff is like continuation for tutorials and stuff. Actually, I checked. One of these is an advertisement, which is not very good user onboarding, because keep the ads out of it. I don't know. And then you go to the other place, and it's again another advert. They're integrating their other products into their Google ecosystem, and you got a Google Plus email inviting you to join Google Plus and start using this social network. So what does Google do right? Pretty much everything. They're one of the biggest out there. They know what to do. But there's just small things here and there that could be better. But if you notice, how long did it take us to go through like the whole user onboarding process while analyzing it? No, I think it was about 10-15 minutes. That's a very good sign. If you can analyze something in that short of a time, and if we were not analyzing, if you were the user, I would bet this whole process would take you about maximum to a minute, not more than a minute going through this whole process. I know I said in the beginning that the optimal time to onboard your user is 30 seconds. That's the best case scenario. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that in an ideal world, you would not need to onboard your users because your app or your product would be so simple and it would be so intuitive, and the UX design of it would be so simple that you would not need to explain to people what your product does and what they need to do to start using it. But that doesn't happen very often, especially these days when stuff is quite complicated. So the next one we're going to talk about is Tumblr, and I don't know why, I've seen quite a few problems with Tumblr, but a lot of UX designers for some reason think that Tumblr has one of the best user onboarding processes at the moment on the web, and we'll see why in a bit, but they have quite a few problems as well. Randomized backgrounds, I hate them. It doesn't tell you anything about the product. It's a picture of a fox. What does a fox have to do with Tumblr? Nothing. I guess it's user-generated content. They put random backgrounds and they have they have the name of the user who posted it there. But I'm a first-time user. I put tumblr.com and this picture of a fox comes out. I don't know what Tumblr is. They don't explain it to me straight away. They don't show me features and stuff. But they can do that because they're Tumblr. They have 162.2 million blogs. So they've got pretty big brand recognition. So that's how they can afford to do stuff like this, like be a bit more creative. But if you're a new startup, for example, or you're just doing your local website, you can't afford to do that. You have to explain your product. You have to show the features to the user when he first gets to the landing page. You guys remember the Google registration form? How big that thing was? Look at that. That's beautiful. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Email, password, username. Like, people these days don't even use the confirm password validation anymore for some reason. I gotta check that up actually, why that went out of use. Some places even don't even use username. They use the username and the email field as one, and they only have 2 input forms. Makes life so much easier. When you see a big registration form, you're like, oh my God, do I have to go on and fill everything in again? Here, you're like, oh, okay, it's just asking me 2 things. I can jump straight into it. Stats. Very good way of persuading your users to show them how good their product is. Like, this is some incredible stuff. 162.2 million blogs, 71.2 billion posts, and only 30 seconds to join. The user onboarding process on Tumblr is 30 seconds. And I actually timed it when I was registering. It took me 34 seconds to finish their whole process, which is amazing. It's very close to the optimal time of 30 seconds. Again, when you put your cursor on the password field, it shows you a password strength indicator on the side. It's small, I don't think you can see here. And it shows you the password rules. And as I said before, it's a very useful way to cut time and date input forms. I hate them. Like, hands up people who've put just January 1st and like minimum 18 years old every single time they go on a website. People aren't honest on the internet. People like to be anonymous. How does Tumblr do it? doesn't ask for you for a date. Ask how old are you. Simple question. You just put in one number. Makes things easier. And they've got some awesome micro copy. Actually, I don't think I have it here, do I? No, I don't have it here. But what happens, they have some really funny stuff going on. So like when you put 30 years and above, it says 30 years young. And funny stuff like that, small micro copy and funny phrases, like attract users and make them feel home. Oh, and the commanding tone, follow the blogs you've been hearing about, share the things that you love. Tells you exactly what Tumblr does. You follow posts and then you share them around with other people. In 2 simple sentences, shows you the whole functionality of the website.
It should be in the homepage.
I think they have it on the homepage as well. Yeah, they have it on the homepage as well. And another thing, Cta buttons. Again, very emphasized. Done, next, sign up. Tiny buttons if you're an already existing user. So if you're an already existing user, they pretty much don't care about you. They want to get all the new users. And it's like very tiny, you can barely see it. It's like log in if you already have an account. Tutorials again. You get into Tumblr the first time, the first thing it asks you to do and doesn't allow you to go past this stage unless you start, it says, find blogs, follow 5. Gives you general recommendations, but you can search for any specific interest you want. And until you get 5 blogs followed, it doesn't let you go ahead. Can you guys see the wireframes here? There's like a small avatar space and then the content space. I think it's like in very light blue, so it's not very visible. But again, very smart thing to do. Have you guys seen what Facebook has done lately with their loading animation? When you reload Facebook, it puts a placeholder with a dummy text and a dummy wireframe. It shows you what the content is going to be like. Yeah. It's a very good thing. Like the user straight away realizes, oh, there's going to be an avatar here and there's going to be pictures and text here. I should start following. Cta buttons. Very emphasized, follow buttons, just the plus buttons on a blue background, and a short description of what the blogs are. You can search if you don't like any of the suggested blogs. Very easy to do. You just start typing up whatever interests you. And like I tried MBA, and I started following an MBA blog. Very cool how the copy changes while you're doing the tutorial. So I followed one, it realized that I followed one, it says follow 4 more to continue. But another cool thing, it asked for 5 blogs to follow. On this step, I followed 4 blogs already. Now it's giving me an option to skip, because it doesn't think you're dumb. Okay, you get the hang of it. You follow 3 blogs, you know how to do it now. It gives you the option to skip. And this is a very good, actually an example where the next step CTA is all right, because the actions are so repetitive you don't need to do them anymore, because you're going to customize your Tumblr experience, you're going to find all the blogs you want later on. You can get to the other important stuff like editing your profile and everything. Remember I was talking about the opacity thing where you put attention on different stuff? Tumblr does it. You were just on the other page, and now Tumblr is asking you to fill out your personal information. Tell us about yourself. Very commanding tone of copy. It's telling you exactly what to do. You can change, and then it tells you that you can change this information at any later time. It's reassuring you that, okay, you can kind of blitz through it, but then again, you still can go back and change anything that you've gotten wrong. And opacity went down here, 50% transparency on this or something like that. So the whole attention is on this form where you can upload the picture and everything. And there's the next step button. as you can see, like there are no mandatory fields. You can leave this whole thing blank and then go straight ahead. Makes the user onboarding process much easier. Maybe I don't have a photo at hand that I want to use. Maybe I don't want to give my address. Maybe I don't want to give my real name. Click next, click next, click next. Quick onboarding process. The user gets to the actual product quickly, and it increases the probability of the user becoming an actual user of your product. The add photo thing. You can upload, very nifty feature. Take a photo, use your webcam, take a quick photo, it'll upload automatically. And then the Cta button is the load button. Blah, blah, blah. Here we are. Tumblr forces you to get the app. Get the app. Easy. iOS, Android, or Windows Phone, whichever one you have. But the interesting thing is, when I first got here, I thought when I would click on iOS or Android, it would straight take me to the market and make me download it. It actually doesn't. I was very surprised. You click on Android, and it skips to the next page. And then what I discovered what they do is, later that day I went to my inbox, I got an email from Tumblr saying that here is our link for the Android app, you can download it here. Again, very smart thing to do, because it doesn't force you to go and do something else while you were doing this first thing. Deal with this first, finish this process, and then go back and do that other thing. That's how they minimize their user onboarding process time so much. It only took me 34 seconds to finish this whole thing. You finish the tutorial. You're in the dashboard screen now, and you've got access to all of the other features. It's time to explore. You can go ahead and start fiddling around with everything. But I get another app. These days, like, products are pushing mobile so hard, and like, again, you get another prompt. Download Tumblr for your smartphone, post anything from anywhere. Good copy. This time actually I tried, and these buttons do take you to the market because you have already finished the registration process and you've already become a product user. So they're not afraid to take you to the marketplace now because you're already theirs. And then it takes you back to your dashboard. So what does Tumblr do right? Their user onboarding time is amazing. Like, I have not seen any other website be as fast as Tumblr yet, like the big ones. One that came close was Pinterest, but Pinterest tutorial was really long. The registration process for Pinterest was quite quick, but then the tutorial they have is very lengthy and a lot of pictures and a lot of text to go through. Does anyone know Basecamp? Basecamp has a very good user onboarding process, and it's quite fast as well. Another good one, Shopify. Has anyone used Shopify?
Yeah.
Shopify is another very good example of user onboarding processes. So what you guys can do, if you're interested, you can just go on their websites and try and detect all the stuff we've been talking about here today, and see if you can identify what makes those websites a good user experience design. How to see if your user onboarding process is working. Any ideas? Like, did you just get lucky and you're looking at your numbers or Google Analytics, for example, and you're seeing very high conversion rates from first-time users to actual registered users? But is it because you have a good UX? Is it because you have a good onboarding process, or did you just get lucky, or is your product very good? How can you decide? A/B testing, best thing to do.
A/B testing is kind of comparing to other.
Exactly, but what you do is you create a couple of different user onboarding processes. You do A/B testing, I don't know, like.
Kind of very, very expensive.
Very expensive and very time consuming, but I think it's the best way to show the conversion rates. I cannot think of anything better that can show conversion rates for a specific flow of users. So if you guys, you know what A/B testing is. You want to explain it to the others, so I don't have to.
Right now?
Yeah, if you want.
Like, you create two versions of your onboarding process pages of your flow. Maybe one, for example, you make one with the 2 fields, 2 input, and the other with the 10 fields, and just show to one part of your new users one version, and to other parts the second version, like version A and version B, and after you can see which one converts better. In one case you have like
Statistics, it's easy. You have 2 different stuff, you see which one has more conversion rate, you just use that one. But,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Thing is, as with user experience design, user onboarding is not you do it one time and you're finished, done. It's not like that. It's a process. Even after you launch your site, even after like you're just working every day, you have to go back, check and see what can you improve, what can you do. Great example, I was checking last night and Tumblr completely changed some of their biggest elements. They took out the password indicator, the password rules for some reason. I think that was a bad move, I don't know why. They took out, what else did they take out? I think they took out the name of the guys who posted the random backgrounds. So things change constantly, every month, every week. People go back and change their user onboarding processes because there is no right and wrong in this field. There is just conversion rates. Everything is relative. No one can say your user onboarding process is right or your user onboarding process is wrong. But there are good practices and bad practices. For example, good practices are using commanding tone in your copy, using CTAs. Bad practices are, I don't know, using captchas. Any questions? Any questions at all? If not, thank you very much. If you have any questions further down the line, you can find me on Twitter at Art and Graphics. It was a pleasure. Thank you.